the jar of the Bossman Show. We're keeping up our new theme of the summer, having on all new coaches of college basketball teams, and we're going to talk to David McLaughlin of the Dartmouth Big Green up in New Hampshire. I tell Coach off the air how I couldn't live where he lives there because I can't drive in snow. As I told you on there many times, Jr. cannot drive in snow. So, but Coach, I know he can do it. So, Coach, I'm glad to have you on the show this morning. How's recruiting going for you on the road here?
It's going great, JR. Thanks for having me on. And as we tell recruits, it's sunny every day in New Hampshire. There's no snow up there, so it's 75 and sunny every day up there. So we're good to go.
I hear that, Coach. I hear that. Now, Coach, what does it mean to you to get this program here at Dartmouth to put your stamp on this university and that community of Hanover up there? What does this job mean to you, really, Coach?
Well, I think first and foremost, it's when you get a job and you get an opportunity, you want to be passionate about where you're working and the place you're working. And so I think in terms of a fit for me and for my family, it was a perfect fit. So I think just that starting point is terrific. To have an Ivy League institution that you're working at is phenomenal. There's only 8 of them in the country, and they're just seen as these not just nationally elite academic schools, but worldwide reputation. So I think that's fun to recruit that type of student athlete. And I think secondly, it's the right place for my family at this point in our life, and to be involved in not just the Dartmouth community, but the greater Hanover community as well.
And Coach, you brought up a great point there. How different is it to recruit an Ivy League player? I know the requirements are pretty much higher than most schools. So I know it kind of limits you who you can target, but how do you go about targeting guys you feel will be a great fit for the Ivy League environment?
Yeah, I think the biggest difference is a lot of non-basketball related research has to be done early. So you have to have a really good feel for the academic piece, a really good feel for in the Ivy League. There's non-scholarships. It's all need-based financial aid. So you have to have a feel for what individuals that might work for. And so it's not just, hey, here's a good player. I'm watching him on film, terrific. Okay, now you got to check a lot of boxes before you can spend a lot of time on that individual.
Now, Coach, I know a lot of schools have scholarships. They have like 13 scholarships, and they can have some walk-ons. So for you guys, it's pretty much you can have as many guys you want on your rosters, or is there a limit because it's not scholarship based?
Correct. There's no, there's no limits that way in terms, and you could have larger rosters. I think the balance, and I think you bring up a really good point, is if you want to have a big roster, how are you going to make yourself competitive in practice? And if you want to have a big roster, how is everyone going to have a defined role? And I think that is a really interesting balance, and I think it's a challenge that we're going to have moving forward. If you have over 15 or 16 guys, how do you make a competitive environment on a daily basis, and how do you keep everyone happy? And that's always a tricky balance for a coach and the coaching staff.
Yes, indeed. Folks, we're joined by Dartmouth Big Green head coach David McLaughlin here on the Bossman Show. Then, Coach, how's the workouts been going for your guys, and how's it been for you with your new players and the team kind of getting to know you and your staff and you knowing them?
Yeah, that's a great question. We got the job, and it was a little late, but the advantage was we were in class because of the way that the academic system works at Dartmouth. We were in class through about June 8th, so we were able to spend some time on the court with the guys, which was nice because you can have conversations with guys and you can go out to lunch with them and you can meet with them in your office, but until you get a feel for them on the court, how they're going to respond to you, and until you can kind of see how that chemistry is going to be between you as a coach and a player, I think that really helps to form a true relationship with them because it goes beyond everything else. And Ivy League rules don't allow you to work guys out in the summer. So we do have some guys on campus taking classes, but in terms of on the court, we can't do it. So it was a huge advantage for us to at least have a couple weeks with them, 3 or 4 weeks with them before we went on the road for the summer.
Now, Coach, I want to love to ask this question before I hear, because I know there's a difference between Ivy League and the rest of the NCAA schools that I kind of talk to. If you could, Coach, what are the big differences between the Ivy League rules and rules like the regular Power Five or Big Five conferences, some of the other mid-major conferences? What's the difference between you guys and them?
I think the one of the big rules just mentioned is working out in the summer. I think that's a big. So we cannot NCAA rules. You can work guys out in the summer with the 2-hour rule, and we can't do that. across the league. There's also just a couple other small restrictions on hours during the year. So if you might have 8 hours in the spring, we might have 6. Things like that. So it's nothing drastic, just a lot of little things, and it's really just to keep the stress and the emphasis, not the stress, excuse me, the emphasis on academics and especially in the off season. Most of the rules apply during off season time.
Got you. Now, Coach, when people watch your team play this year and beyond, what are things you want people to take away from watching your team play every night?
That's a great question. I think when we want, in the way I always say, and I say to our staff and our guys, how do we want to be defined? How do you want people to view us? And I think we want to be seen as a team that plays a lot of energy, especially on the offensive end. I think we want to be seen as a team that plays with multiple efforts on the defensive end. And I tell guys, if we can have 5 guys on the floor, especially defensively, playing with multiple efforts on consecutive multiple possessions, then that's a good defensive team. And I want people leaving the gym seeing that. And then beyond that, we want people saying, hey, they really execute. They really move the ball well. They really know who they are on the offensive end. And I also want people to say we play with a great purpose of play. The ball's not dead. It's moving. And we have a great purpose of play on the offensive and defensive end of the floor.
Sounds like to me, Coach, you want to play with the Golden State Warriors. That's what it like to me, Coach.
That'd be great. That's sign me up.
That's what it sounds like to me. Because I hear Steve Kerr say all the time about playing with passion, playing with energy, moving the ball. The ball has energy, contesting multiple efforts. Like, it's not like the Warriors, So I
Right.
think, hey, that's in the side you up for that, Coach. Now, non-conference schedule-wise, I know it was probably already done for you once you got to Dartmouth. Probably a lot of it done for this year. So going forward, how do you look at yourself scheduling these non-conference games for your team? You want to go tough to get a high RPI, or you want to kind of get some home games with 2-1s? How you see yourself going about that non-conference schedule going forward?
Yeah, that's another really good question, and it's something that is really important when you look at your season. I think a lot of people don't realize the time and the effort and energy that goes into scheduling and the thought process that goes into it. And I think first and foremost, you want to kind of look at those relationships that teams have been playing for a long time. So for us, we might have been have a long-lasting relationship with the University of Vermont or a long playing relationship with the University of New Hampshire, and you want to keep those relationships moving forward. And I think beyond that, you want to find teams that are going to help you get ready for your conference play, whether it's style play, does someone play a certain way, and does that help you for, hey, these guys play this way offensively or defensively, they're going to allow you to get ready for certain league games. And I think after that, it's travel. Where are guys in your roster? Do you want to get them back to where they play, where they're from, and maybe get them back in front of their families? And those are probably 3 of the priorities we look at.
I learned about this when I was in the coach's office this summer about how you play Hawaii. And if you play Hawaii, the game does not count. You get an extra game because I plan going to play at Hawaii. It was like, really? Wow. I guess, you go out to Hawaii, you get a good, nice, vacation or so, and then the game doesn't really count, but you can play an extra game. Did you know about that, Coach?
Actually, you know what? I did not know about that, and I'm going to I might mention that to one of our administrators when I get back to the office here after being on the road. That's a good tip.
Yeah, like I was shocked. I was in the office. I said, yeah, if you go play at Hawaii, the game is exempt. And I was like, oh, okay, that's new. But I knew about it in football. I knew if you played them at home in football, you had to play a 13th game. I knew that part. But I know in basketball it's the same exact way that, hey, if you go out and play at Hawaii, you gain an extra game to play. So just a little tip for you, just a little Bossman Show tip here. Yeah, I got insider information on that one.
That's a good tip. And we brought having been a head coach in the past at Division II school, we brought a couple teams over to Europe to play on a couple of occasions, and those are obviously exempt games. And in the summer, and that was just trips like that are invaluable with the team when you can spend days together. So whether it's the off season or even in season, someplace like Hawaii, and travel to a place you maybe haven't gone before. It's huge for team culture and chemistry.
Yes, indeed. And, Coach, I always like to ask coaches about this. Are there any rules that the committee put in for next season going forward? Maybe advance the ball in less minutes of the game, maybe go to a quarters or shot clock being 24 seconds. Is that something you want to see the committee maybe look into going forward for the year after next?
That's a great question. I think I think before that, I think we still have to get used to the rules that have been put in place recently. I still think, with the shortening of the shot clock and changing the timeout situation a little bit, I think that teams still have to get used to that. How does that really change you as a coach? How does it change your style? I think shortening the shot clock again, that's a great question. Is it going to get to that? I think it might. But right now, I think where it's been shortened recently, I think we have to kind of get used to that first. But and I think a lot of it just is based on, I think the NBA makes some decisions for college. I think when they change some rules, it ends up coming down eventually. And I think we're going to see what happens there and see what trickles down.
And for our question for you, Coach, where is your day like been since you've been a head coach? What's a typical day for you like in the morning times? Is it early morning, a late night, or you kind of come in mid-morning? What's a typical day be like for you since you've been named the head coach at Dartmouth?
Well, I think when you transition to a head coach, and there is no normal day. I think because there's so many things that you have to wrap your head around, and so many things that you have to learn, and so many people on campus that you want to meet, and so many people in the community that you want to reach out to. So I think those first, 8 weeks, those first, 2 months to 100 days, it's there's no typical schedule. And I think, to be quite honest, in July, when July is part of that transition, there is really no schedule because of the amount of travel. So I'll give you an example. I got to the airport from Orlando on Thursday night to get to Vegas for a tournament, and they said, all the flights are canceled. And I said, okay, well, I need to get to Vegas tomorrow morning. And, you really don't, you're very tunnel visioned. I have to go see these guys. I have to be there. I have to meet my staff. And they said, well, we can't get you to Vegas till 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. And so then you say, okay, well, what are my options? And they said, well, we have a flight out of Miami. So without thinking, I said, okay, I'll rent a car. And, without even thinking, you hop in the car, you drive 4 hours to Miami for a 6 a.m. flight the next day. And it's just one of those. And so it's very atypical that way. And then, leaving Vegas to go to Kansas City, when the flight ended up getting delayed, we landed in Kansas City at 4 a.m. and then there's a 9 o'clock game. So recruiting adds another dimension of just a non-typical day and non-typical schedule.
Hey, Coach, I can respect it. Some of these Atlanta Hawks back-to-back games, 4 and 5 nights, I can kind of relate to it without the cover those Hawks games. So, Coach McLaughlin, I tell you what, it's been great to have you on the show. I look forward to following your team this year and having you back on this season, talk to you some about the great things you're doing with the Big Green, Coach.
I would love that. Thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Welcome, Coach. Thank you. Have a great day now.
Take care.
All right, folks. So it's Coach McLaughlin here on the Bossman Show. Mike Conley of the Grizzlies is coming up next after the break. Folks, back in the JR the Bossman Show. As promised, we're about to be joined by a 2-time NBA Supership Award winner and the Memphis Grizzlies starting point guard. Signed a new contract with the Grizzlies. He'll be there 5 more years, people. The one and only Mike Conley on the Bossman Show. Mike, how you feeling, brother?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Man, I'm doing good, man. It's a hot day here in the ATL, man. So summertime heat, loving it, man.
Sounds good.
Now, Mike, how has the offseason been treating you so far, man? And where are you enforced your recovery from your Achilles injury that kept you out the latter part of the season?
The summer's been good. It's been fairly cool. Spending most of my time working on my body, working on recovering from obviously the Achilles, and everything is in a great place right now. Body feels great, so just been working out, staying ready for the season, and excited for the upcoming year with Memphis and what we have going, for the future.
And yes, and you guys were hit hard last year, Mike. 28 different guys on the roster suiting up for you. That's the toughest year you ever been a part of as far as the attrition and having all the different guys on the team. But at the same time, was it a happy feeling that you guys fought to the end, even though you was lesser than what you should have been all year long?
Well, yeah, it was one of those seasons that I think as an athlete, you want to try to forget. It's one that we went into last year with a lot of high goals, and with injuries that happened very early in the season to our team, we never really could recover from it. But at the same time, through guys just staying ready, staying available, guys coming in and out of the roster, we were able to make it into the playoffs and at least give it a run. And that's what all you can ask for. We never gave up regardless of our situation, and that was the exciting part, and the only thing that I think exciting that we can take away from last year's season.
Folks, we're joined by Mike Conley here on the Bossman Show, Grizzlies starting point guard. Now, Mike, with 20 different guys coming through the locker room, did you know everybody's name that came through there, or did you kind of just knew them by number?
There's a few times I didn't know what the guy's name was that day. I would refer to him as the new guy or whoever we just picked up, and then soon after that, you finally, kind of let it all sink in, and you meet who they are, and you form a relationship with them a little bit. So, it was tough to have guys coming in and out, and some guys were there for 4 or 5 days. It felt like some guys were there for 2 weeks, and so it was a revolving door for sure.
Now, when it comes to you guys when your schemes, so you probably had to kind of simplify all your schemes to make sure the guys who were new as getting it could pick them up releases, so you couldn't really do too much blitzing or be too complicated with your coverages because, I mean, they don't know all of what you guys do.
Yeah, we had to, in a sense, dumb our offense down a little bit, and even defensively as well. We only had 2 or 3 calls defensively that we were using, and offensively it was, we probably ran 10 plays, as opposed to the 30 or 40 that we're used to, having on cue from all the years of guys know, how to play together in the offense, and familiarity between the systems. So it was different. It was different for everybody. You just have to almost take a step back or two and just play ball.
Now, Mike, you gotta be excited about this, Mike. The organization brought in guys like Chandler Parsons, a great shooter, a 6'10" guy who can do a lot on the court. Troy Daniels to back you up. Wade Baldwin, a guy I know pretty good from Vandy. That guy can ball. And Deontay Davis as well on the roster, to name a few, man. What do you think these guys are gonna bring to your roster next year? And it seems like you guys kind of got younger on the fly and got a lot of different athletic abilities to help you guys out in the Western Conference going forward.
Well, yeah, I'm very excited for for what our organization was able to accomplish this offseason. They went out and did what they said they were going to do. They signed big time free agent in Chandler. They obviously signed me back. They went out into the draft and got Wade and then Davis and Troy Daniels. It was a big signing, and as a shooter, he's one of the best in the league. And we're all excited about everybody's potential to play together and where we can go with the roster that we have and the current guys that are already on the roster, and Mark, Zach, and Tony, and all those guys. So it's going to be a good year for us, and I think everybody's going to be pretty surprised at what we're able to accomplish.
I agree, Mike. I think you guys can go a long way next year with the roster you got, with you back and Zach and Mark, all those guys, with Chandler Parsons now, the shooting you got. I think you guys are going to be a great team next year, and I look forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. Now,
Thank you.
Mike, looking from afar, Coach Fizdale is a guy I've always liked from watching him on interviews with doing Heat games and talking to him pregame. He's always been a great guy. How he works with guys pregame and gives guys confidence. Now, since you've known him for a few weeks or so, what's your overall impression of Coach Fizdale and what he's going to bring to you guys and the team and help you with your game going forward?
Oh, I think I mean, he's a hard worker. You know, from the get go, you can see his passion for the game, his passion to help create you into a better player, a better person, and those are things. You know, his core values are things that I believe in, and I'm very excited to work with a guy that really cares about you as a player, as a person, cares about your family, and wants you to succeed. You know, he's going to do everything he can to do that. And, you know, to have coaches like that in this league is rare. So I'm excited to have the opportunity to you know, suit up for him and really get this thing going and see how much better we all can be.
Folks, I'm Mike Conley here on the Bossman Show. Now, Mike, for those who don't know about this, your locker is virtually next to Vince Carter's locker. And, like I told you off there,
Yeah.
me and you are the same age. We grew up on that half amazing VC. So for you, how big of a thrill is it for you to every day have this guy, a living legend, right next to you every day, dressing with you in the locker room every day? And what has he taught you so far since he's been your teammate about how to be professional and some little tricks of the trade and been in the NBA so long?
Man, it's been a blessing to be honest. You know, Vince is a guy that I know that a lot of us who are around the same age all look up to and idolize as kids, and you know, to have him as a teammate, and not only that, but as a good friend, you know, it's huge, and he's been there to help me in as far as the mental side of the game and things on the court that I can improve. And you know, he just always keeping me prepared and teaching me more about the mental side of the game and you know, always being professional and being patient more than anything. So, you know, it's exciting every day to walk in and know that sitting next to a Hall of Famer. So, you know, I got a pretty cool job.
Yeah, and speaking of like Vince Carter, last year, Mike, he showed he still could play. Like when you guys had all them injuries, he was healthy for the most part, playing those last few games of the year. Him and Matt Barnes with Lance Stevenson. I mean, those guys kept you guys in games, got you in the playoffs, and your team fought San Antonio real hard. Just that you guys didn't have enough, but he showed he could still play this game of basketball at a high level still.
Yeah, he definitely did that. I think that he had just battled an injury or two over the last year and a half, and finally was starting to come around the corner from that. And once he got some more minutes, you know, he was able to get into a better rhythm and showed that, you know, he has many years to play, and he can play as long as he wants to. He's taking care of his body very well, and still one of the more athletic guys in the league, even at his age. So, you know, it was exciting to, you know, see those guys who, you know, sacrifice so much. You know, Matt Barnes and VC and, you know, all those guys stepping up for a team that was depleted with injuries.
And Mike, at your press conference, you decided that you'll be donating $1 million to the Grizzlies, a charitable foundation, man. And the way what's going on in our country, you feel like it's an even bigger responsibility for you guys like yourself to be part of the communities and show these people in the communities that, hey, we can do better and be better and help be inspirational to these guys coming up to say, hey, we need to do it this way. We shouldn't have to fight the police. We shouldn't have to fight each other. We can come together and be all for one and one for all.
Yeah, and, you know, for all of us athletes, especially with all of us in the NBA at this point, we're under a microscope, and we're at a, you know, perfect stage to, you know, raise our voice a little bit and make a statement, you know, make a stand and help guide and lead and be there for our communities. And that was, you know, the donation was something that had, you know, been weighing on me for a while, and it's going to continue. You know, I'm going to continue to donate and spend my time in communities regardless. But as far as what's going on in the you know, in our communities today is something that we can't stand for. And you know, we as athletes have to be role models. We have to try to you know, be leaders in the best way that we can, and try to preach the right things, make our communities better, more knowledgeable, and give everybody fair opportunities and you know, to succeed in life.
No, Mike, I want to ask you a question that I want to ask a lot of you guys about Rob Fisher. Do you ever wonder, like Fish, where do you get these suits from? Do you ever think about it? Like, where is he getting this stuff from?
Oh man, I'm thinking he's. I don't know where he gets it from. He must have a tailor that just cooks up something in the lab every a couple weeks or so, because he comes with some crazy colors.
And Pete Pranica, but see, Pete's always sharp though. Pete's kind of working in a symmetry. Fish is like, what?
Right. Pete keeps it classic, man. He keeps it cool, and I think he has to balance it out, especially with Rob's choice of exotic suits.
Exactly. Hey, follow one for you, Mike. Man, take us behind the scenes a little bit, Mike. For a lot of guys who don't get to hear you guys on a regular basis talk about the process of getting ready for a game. So, if you could share like what's a typical game that they like for you to get ready for a game on a game day when you head to the FedEx Forum in Memphis to put on a show for the Grizzly Nation.
Well, for me, we normally have a shoot around early in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning, and I'll get up for that and get there about 30 minutes early, get some treatment on my body, and get some couple extra shots up. To go through our walkthrough, study film, do whatever you have to do to prepare for the game. Go home, eat lunch, take a long nap, get ready for the game, drive back down about 2 hours before tip off, and make sure I get a good lift in, good court workout in where I get my shots up, do some stretching and different routines that I have. And finally, 30 minutes before the tip off, we finally are in a uniform and ready to go, and that's when you're locked in, and everything is all the preparation that you've done for the last 2-3 days for that team you're playing against, you get to go out there and use it. So that's pretty much a daily basis.
I hear that, Mike, and I'm gonna tell you, Mike. I cover a lot of Hog games and Hornets games, but I tell you what, Rick Trotter and that Grizzly staff, man, that in-game protection you guys have is top of the line, man. That Grizz
Okay.
always has something going on. Do you ever notice that when you're on the bench, what Grizz has going on when doing timeouts?
Yeah, man, I do. I keep an ear and an eye looking up, trying to see what's going on, and I always got something cool going on, some kind of fun game or challenge going on. So it's they do a great job with the relationship with that and the fans.
Hey, Mike, I tell you what, it's been a pleasure to get you on the show, man. Congrats on the new baby, brother. And I look forward to seeing you next season again. And I look forward to seeing what the great things you guys do next year. I look forward to talking to you again down the road, Mike.
All right, thank you very much. I appreciate it, and have a good day.
All right, folks. That's Mike Conley here on the Bossman Show. Come on, next, Dan Feldman of ProBasketballTalk.com after the break. Folks, back in the Jared the Boss Man Show is joined by David McLaughlin of Dartmouth and Mike Conley of the Grizzlies. And now we're joined by friend of the show, Pro Basketball Talks, Dan Feldman. Dan, how you doing, brother? Good to hear your voice again, man.
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing good, man. Burning up here in the ATL, man.
I can only imagine as hot as it is here up in Detroit.
Yeah, it's 97 with 80% humidity today. So, yeah, it's like, yeah. So, yeah, it's steamy, man. It's very steamy.
And we wonder why Atlanta doesn't get all the free agents.
Exactly. This oppressive, choking heat, and get this, Dan, I'm talking to you from the Falcons training camp, so I was outside literally 30 minutes ago, so I'm going to be here to talk to you right now in the studio.
Well, I'm glad I gave you an excuse to get back inside.
Thank you, man. And sticking with the thing we've had with Mike Conley on the show, man, how do you feel about the Grizzlies offseason move this year with him bringing back Mike Conley, signing Chandler Parsons, making David Fizdale the new head coach, Troy Daniels, the draft with Wade Ball and Deontay Davis? Have the Grizzlies on the fly retool their roster to be sustainable going forward after Tony and Zach Randolph leave after next year, most likely?
A little bit. I think more than retool, the big thing for them was keeping Conley and just staying the course because they'd already traded away their next first-round draft pick. They were just in no position to retool on the fly if they lost Conley. The next best free agent point guard on the market was, Jeremy Lin or Rajon Rondo, whoever it was. It's a big, big drop. And so just to keep Conley, I think, was huge. And then you add Chandler Parsons, well, that kicks it up a notch. And now you're starting to talk about a team that can contend to win a playoff series, maybe two in the Western Conference. And so that brings it on to another level where I think it was, like you said, a real nice offseason for them.
Yeah, and do you feel like that the Grizzlies can possibly challenge Golden State with their roster, or they're more so a 3 or 4 seed that if they get the right break could get me Golden State in the finals if it's there, the 3 seed most likely?
I think they need more than the right break. I think they need the several right breaks. The Warriors are just so far ahead of everybody else with Durant now. I mean, they're on another level, and it's a big step to the next level. The Grizzlies, I would not be shocked if they're the second best team in the West. I think there's a long, long way to go to number one. I sort of still think they're behind the Clippers and the Spurs, and then they're in that next tier where maybe they're about the fourth or fifth best team. Right in there with the Trailblazers. But yeah, I mean, it's nice to be where you could be number two. I think number one, aiming for that or thinking they can take down the Warriors, barring something, really crazy happening, I think that's a little bit much.
Now, Dan, I heard Adam Silver discuss the CBA and how he was kind of trying to fix the CBA due to Kevin Durant going to the Golden State. But think about this, Dan. The Memphis Grizzlies, a small market team, very small market team, with 3 max contracts of Mike Conley, Chandler Parsons, and Marc Gasol on their books. Without the CBA as it is now, they wouldn't have that opportunity to do that. And look at the Portland Trailblazers spending all this money, and Charlotte keeping Nicholas Batum and Marvin Williams. So when I hear the commissioner talk about the CBA and how it's broken, needs to be fixed, I think it's working. These teams with small markets are keeping their guys and signing them to big money deals.
That's a fantastic, fantastic point. I'm with you, and I think to whatever degree it's quote unquote not working, it's not working this year. It's a 1-year crazy thing where the new national TV contracts kick in all at once. The salary cap shoots up. Only guys who are free agents and a couple guys who can get their contracts renegotiated, like James Harden, can take advantage. It's such a fluky thing, and next year it'll have some of the same characteristics, but not as much. At least if things stay this course. The following year, we're sort of going to be back to normal, just with bigger salaries. And so I think the idea that something needs to be fixed for the reasons you said, one, is overblown, but also because this is a 1-year blip. The Warriors just sort of happen to be at the right place at the right time where, they have their superstar MVP player, Stephen Curry, on a cheap contract because he signed it when he was having ankle problems, and the salary cap's going up, and Kevin Durant happened to be a free agent this year. That's not all going to come together again. So I think if owners worry too much about, quote-unquote, fixing the CBA, they're going to create some new problems for themselves.
Exactly. And I hear talking about a super team. Golden State was built organically through the draft, except for Kevin Durant. So I don't know how it's a super team if it's been drafted well. I mean, if you ask me, Dan, OKC had a super team if they kept Harden and Ibaka with Durant and Westbrook. They have super team themselves, but they didn't. They traded them away before they left on their own.
And I guess that's where the worry comes in, that teams like the Thunder would feel like they need to trade away somebody rather than keep them, that it's too much for those teams to keep all their stars together. But I just think the Thunder made a poor choice. Like, they should have kept Harden, and the system has changed a little bit in ways they didn't foresee. And in hindsight, I'm sure they wish they would have kept Harden, especially because maybe that would have led to Durant re-signing. They would have been a contender for longer. I mean, that's really going down more of the rabbit hole. But I think the system is set up pretty well where small market teams can be competitive. And the problem with this whole small market team discussion, by the way, is we change our definition of what's a small market, what's a big market, sort of based on where players pick. When the Warriors were bad, when they were bad forever before the Stephen Curry era, nobody was talking about Golden State as some huge market. Yes, it's a big place, but when you talked about the top markets, they didn't get brought up.
Exactly.
When the Heat were kind of up and down before they got LeBron, Wade, and Bosh, nobody was starting a list of big markets by going New York, LA, and Miami. And then it changes the way people talk. The Spurs are obviously not a big market. Nobody talks about them that way. But they don't really get thrown into the mix of small markets who can't compete. So really, it's what it should be. It's where teams that make good decisions are going to have good teams, and teams that make bad decisions are going to have bad teams. But if you play in a larger market, you do get a little more leeway than a team in a smaller market. I'm okay with that.
Folks, to join Dan Feldman on the Bossman Show, ProBasketballTalk.com, giving me a break from the Heat. Thank God for that, Dan, on the Bossman Show. And speaking of the Heat, here in Atlanta, the number 9 market in America, media market, and we only get Dwight Howard. Okay? We can't get nobody to sign here in Atlanta. The number 9 market, a lot of guys live here in the offseason, we can't get nobody to sign here but Dwight Howard, who's a hometown guy. So, like you said, that whole big, small market thing to me is overblown, because I live in a big market, Atlanta. You live in a big market, Detroit, but we're not putting those like New York, LA is. So, like you said, it's kind of when you want to use that to your advantage to make your argument.
Well, is Detroit a big market? Is Atlanta? I mean, those are the teams that are in the middle that if the Hawks were good in signing free agents, we'd call them a big market. If they couldn't even get Dwight Howard and were striking out just because guys happen to not like the fit, not like the team, we call them a small market. It's the same with Detroit. It fluctuates based on whatever narrative you want to sell.
Exactly. And speaking of the Hawks signing Dwight Howard, the people here in Atlanta are kind of tempered in their happiness or sadness about this, because Al Horford to me was the Hawks organization. He signified change in the team actually being good, making the playoffs, and being steady. And the Hawks only offered him 5 years, 142, and not give him the full 5-year max that Mike Conley got that he really wanted, and went with Dwight Howard, who to me is on the decline. So bringing in Dwight Howard, keeping Kent Bazemore, trading away Jeff Teague. And do you feel the Hawks have regressed, or they kind of status quo, stuck in that purgatory of the Eastern Conference where they're not too bad to be bad, and they're not really going to contend for anything at all either?
I think both of those are true. I do think they've regressed from being one of the better teams in the East to a likely playoff team in the East, but far less of a threat. Al Horford is a much better player right now than Dwight Howard, and maybe the thinking is that because Howard's on a shorter deal, that you have a little more flexibility. I don't buy that. I would have given Al Horford the full max. I'd want him back. I'd do whatever it takes. But there's at least some logic to that potentially. Now, if the thinking was, hey, Dwight Howard's from Atlanta, he's a big name, he's going to help us sell tickets, that's going to be a mistake. That never works. When you sign a player because he's going to sell tickets, it never works. Get the best team out there. Fans will come out to see a good team, and the Hawks had a better team. Trading Jeff Teague, again, I can see the logic somewhat. You've got Dennis Schroeder waiting in the wings. He's younger. He's going to be coming up on unrestricted free agency for Teague, restricted for Schroeder. You're going to have to make a choice. I didn't love the return they got. It was okay getting a couple draft picks. Nothing great, but it's okay. That's tolerable. But to me, the big one is exchanging Horford for Dwight, and I think that's a big step back.
And Dan, I can report to you from seeing it myself, Dwight Howard's trying to shoot jumpers, which scares me.
So is he going to go to Atlanta and think like he's the guy now and like, hey, give me the ball. I'm gonna take you off the dribble. I'm gonna shoot jumpers.
Yes, he's working on shooting jumpers right now, face-up jumpers. Okay, and that just scares me to no end. And Dan, I'm gonna tell you this too. The city of Atlanta is very fair weather. Even the Hawks being good, the arena was not full as it should be. He's not going to sell any tickets. Josh Smith was a hometown boy and it flamed out. They turned on him too. So it's like,
yeah, but Josh Smith wasn't the big name Dwight Howard is.
Yeah, I just don't see it working. I think it's going to be terrible, and I'm just looking forward to a shortened season with the Hawks. I feel like they'll be out first round and not second round, first round now, and get swept by Cleveland that way now. That's how I feel about the Hawks. It's gonna end. It's gonna end with a flame out sweep, no matter what happens. It's gonna be a flame out sweep, no matter what.
I, I'm not going to disagree. I mean, they're headed that way. I'm not a big fan of their off season.
Now, do you feel like the Hawks miss Danny Ferry and his wise decision making? Having Coach Bud and Wes Wilcox making decisions, I think that they're not doing the best job they could. They've kind of overplayed their hands and made some bad choices. You feel like the Hawks, in theory, miss Danny Ferry? Because I've been hearing a lot out there here on the radio here about how the fans saying that the Hawks miss Danny Ferry making decisions. Do you feel the same way about that as the fans in Atlanta do?
It's an interesting question. Danny Ferry is a good basketball executive. I think there are things in this world that are more important than judging basketball talent and being able to negotiate contracts. And I think the things Danny Ferry said were inexcusable. And I don't know if they were fireable, and I don't know what level of contrition he showed and what genuine show of remorse and that he wanted to change and learn from this that he showed. I would have major reservations about somebody who could say that. Say what he said, even if he was reading off a sheet, but not realize, hey, what I said, what I read was completely inappropriate. He just kept going. I'd have major reservations about hiring that person to run my basketball team, no matter how good a job they did, running the team as far as acquiring players. And he was very good, better than the current regime. But I think there are things that matter more than that.
Exactly. And speaking of that same vein, do you feel like it's a good thing that these athletes are speaking out about their feelings about what's going on with race relations and police killings in our society right now? Do you think it's a good thing we have Carmelo talking, LeBron, CP3, other guys speaking up, and then Michael Jordan giving his money like he did this week? You know, Malawi put that picture up of him with the crying Jordan, which makes me laugh so hard. But do you like the guys being able to speak up now and speak their mind about what's going on in the world today?
I do, but I want to give the caveat that I don't feel like players should feel pressured to do it. If the guys who are comfortable, like Carmelo's taking a big lead, LeBron, Chris Paul, if they're comfortable doing it, great for them. Like, take advantage of your platform. It's something you can do that other people can't because you have this stature. But I don't want players to feel like they're forced into it. I mean, their job is to play basketball and to somewhat be a face of the franchise. Even lesser guys, you still have to put on that public relations face a little bit. So if they're comfortable doing it, it's great. I'm all for it. I support it. But if they're not, I don't feel like we need to make this a thing where it becomes an obligation for players, because not everybody is of that mindset.
I got you. And damn, before you go, man, what is the Orlando Magic doing? I mean, what are they doing in Orlando? I can't figure out. Jeff Green, $15 million. Bizet Biyombo, $18 million a year. You got Vucevic and Ibaka and Aaron Gordon's a three. Are you trying to play the Spurs with Purdue, Robinson, and Duncan? What are they doing there?
Man, I thought you were going to send me off with like a nice, quick, easy question. I have no idea. It's baffling to say the least. You know, I think Biyombo and Jeff Green are sort of the pivot points a little bit. And with Biyombo, I can understand the idea that, hey, we've got this money to spend. Maybe our first couple choices didn't pick us. The market's thinning. This isn't a bad price for Biyombo. Let's just get him and figure out the rest later. I don't think that's an awful idea. It does create complications, though. What are you going to do with Vucevic? Is he going to start? Is he going to come off the bench? Is he going to be unhappy? Are you going to block Aaron Gordon's development because he's going to be playing more small forward and he's better at power forward? So that creates complications. Jeff Green, sort of a similar thing where, hey, you have all this money to spend. Give him a one-year contract for a ton of money, but at least you'll have some upgraded talent for a year and you're not stuck in the long term. I don't know if Jeff Green was the best use of that money. I think if you're going to go that route, you probably could have gotten somebody better, maybe a shooting guard or even a point guard instead. But that's the route they went. Like, I don't hate that strategically so much. And then, of course, there's the Ibaka trade, where you give up a lot of value for somebody who's going to be an unrestricted free agent in 1 year. So either Ibaka does not work out for you, and that's bad, or he does, and you have to pay him a ton of money, and it's going to be hard for him to live up to that. So it's a very narrow road where that trade will work out.
And damn, I got one more for you, man. I was talking about the Miami Heat. Deion Waiters, really? I mean, he should sign a qualifying offer and look at the money haircut he took. Like, what an idiot. But, like, what are you doing, Deion Waiters? And then the Miami Heat with Tyler Johnson now letting Dwayne Wade go. Do you feel like Pat Riley sold his hand with Dwayne Wade and he's going to look like, wow, I screwed up? Or is he trying to save money for next year's cap space, trying to get some of them guys to come to Miami and him sell them on those rings again?
I don't know. It's tough for me to get a read on what exactly happened with Wade. I think the Heat sort of decided that it was time to move on and he wasn't worth that money and taking up their cap the next year. The problem with that is to be able to sell. Yes, you have no state income tax. Yes, Miami's a great place to live. Yes, Eric Spoelstra is a good coach. Yes, Pat Riley has a great reputation. That's all nice. But one, you have to win. And I don't think this team's going to be that position to win this year. So if you're coming off a lottery appearance, it's not going to be super attractive to free agents. Two, you lose a little bit of your reputation of a place that fosters family and players first and taking care of your players because you did not take care of Dwayne Wade. He took pay cut after pay cut for the team, and there was never anything at the end of the tunnel for him. And then, three, you still don't have that much cap space. Chris Bosh is making a ton of money. Hassan Whiteside's going to be making a ton of money. You have a 1 year where Tyler Johnson has a low salary to take advantage before his salary shoots way up to about $20 million. So you don't have a ton of flexibility anyway. What are you going to do with that limited amount of money on a team that's going to be coming off probably a so-so season without that reputation of family? I don't know if that's worth all the flexibility.
Oh, I hear that. Well, Dan, I thank you for this heat break I had here. I look forward to talking to you again down the road, talking the NBA with you, my man.
Sounds great. Thanks for having me.
All right, folks. Dan Feldman, ProBasketballTalk.com. Next up is the Boss Report after the break. Bolo. With you for the Boss Report. Dog, you ready for this week's Boss Report, man?
I don't think I'm ever ready for the Boss Report, man, but let's do it.
No doubt. Folks, you've been waiting on it. It's time for it. It's here. It's the Boss Report. First story, dog, is this. Young New Mexico teacher out his patron arrested after beating dude's ass because, quote, he wanted his girl, she had a big old booty, and that booty, quote, had to be his.
That's the quickest way to get your ass whipped, and he should have got his ass whipped for being stupid. How you gonna run up with another man's girl and said that big man? I'm glad he got his ass whipped. Because I swear for Lord. Stupid, just stupid.
Exactly. Also, we have Pokemon pimping. New York man arrested after cheating on his girlfriend and hitting his ex with an axe while gaming.
Wait a minute. He hit her with an axe?
Yes, an axe.
As in like an axe used to chop wood?
Yes.
That is very violent. That is a gross overreaction.
That's two of them already, actually. No, two.
Dog. Yeah, Jesus Christ, that is violent.
An axe.
Yeah.
He's chopping wood like George Washington back in the day.
Huh. Who has an axe on hand? That's what I want. Who the hell? Where they at, dog? Who has an axe and just laying around?
Exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah. Exactly. Here we go. Remember the man we had at Children's Center in Georgia? Remember him?
Which one?
Oh, yeah, the man that was in Atlanta.
Oh, yeah.
The guy robbed with a sledgehammer.
I remember it now.
Well, he's back. But get this. His stand this time was destroyed by a pitchfork and electric saw. Because, quote, the smell of destroying the neighborhood.
Okay. The Chitlin stand, period. I don't agree with people destroying property and valuable businesses, but I cannot be mad because who in the hell wants to live near a Chitlin stand? I'm assuming the smell was horrendous, dog. Just wow. So, I'm conflicted on that one, dog. I can't be mad, bro. I cannot be mad at that one.
And think how hot he is in Georgia. Nobody was think of Chitlins.
Oh, I mean, Swanson. Absolutely Swanson.
Nah. And once again, why are people going to a stand for Chitlins? I don't get that still.
I don't know.
So, here we go. California man is arrested after kicking man in the sack after farting in line before a comedy show.
I'm not trying to laugh at you. That's so over the top and unnecessary, dog. Yo, that's how people get shot, bro. Like, I mean, for real.
Like, he farted, he got his sack kicked. Like, really?
Dog, that's how people get shot, bro. Like, for real.
Like, you that offended by his phone, you're trying to take his sack out. Wow. Ooh-wee. Well, an Alaskan man is arrested after attacking uncle with ginger ale for not letting him hold 100.
First of all, hold 100. Oh my God. With ginger ale, bro.
With ginger ale.
What the hell? Well, I guess when you're in Alaska, you gotta use whatever tools necessary, right?
Exactly.
Just goodness gracious, man. Oh, wow. Whoa, okay. I didn't know ginger ale was weapons until now.
Dog, we got like 5 GORs already, bro.
And this is wow.
Like, dang. Whoo-wee. A woman attempted to hide $36,000 watch in her box after giving a $300 naked massage.
Whoa, who's giving out naked massage?
This woman in Virginia.
Where in Virginia? I'm sorry, let me stop. I'm like, was she naked or was you gotta be naked? Like, how's this naked massage thing working out? But no, for real, yeah, that's kind of unhygienic though. Like, I mean, like, I don't know, bro. I don't know. Like, it's so many variables in naked massage. I don't really know how to feel about that. I'm still stuck on that. Like, first of all, who was giving out naked massage? Like, was it a couple or was it some lady? Like, yo,
just some
naked
lady.
massage is $100 an hour.
Just some lady.
Was she naked or did you have to be naked?
You and her had to be naked.
Okay, all right. That sounds like tricking at home. That's what I was getting at. I was about to say, no, man, naked massage. No, it's tricking at home going on there, dog.
Exactly. And a Nashville man is arrested after cuddling in bed with a mannequin he stole from the downtown Hustler Hollywood store.
What? First of all, to go through the trouble of the hassle of stealing a mannequin, bro, that's, oh, man, wow. How? How? You know what I mean? Like, I'm very curious as to how this man managed to get away with them. A naked mannequin, dog. Oh, man. Okay. Wow, bro. You know what? Kudos to him. If you went through all that trouble and effort to get a hold of a naked mannequin, dog, go ahead. You deserve it. For whatever purposes your heart desires, whatever intent you use or you intend to use a mannequin for, go for it. Because that's crazy.
Exactly. And LA Clippers fan arrested after landing a smackdown on LA Lakers fan at a In-N-Out burger due to fans, quote, ugliness and his team being a sorry-ass train wreck.
Yo, I gotta gather my thoughts. That's so extreme, dog. That's so extreme. He's getting sorry ass franchise. God damn. That's harsh. I don't know what words to say. You call an ass whooping, or the fact that that's what he said after he whooped his ass. He ain't gonna team a sorry ass franchise. Like, yo, that's so embarrassing, bro.
That's a year in review story right there. Year in review right there. That's classic.
That's definitely a year in review, man. That is definitely a year in review, bro. You said you called an ass whooping and said your team was a sorry ass franchise. Like, yeah, that's hurtful. That is so hurtful, bro. Like, you call an ass whooping and your pride and integrity is hurting the entire team that you believe in. That's so real.
New York man arrested, dog, after stealing, get this, $700 from preschool in lunch money and supplies, and also slanging rocks in front of daycare, trying to teach the kids, quote, new way to make money.
Okay, first of all, you should rot in jail for stealing money from the babies. That's not okay. That's not okay at all. You stealing money from the babies, bro. Like, you talking preschool. Them kids is 4 or 5 years old. He needs his ass whooping. He needs to go to jail for real. Second of all, what type of example is he trying to set these kids? Slinging rocks, dog? Like, yo, that dude deserved to be locked up. He deserved to be dropped off in the middle of the ghetto and get his ass whooped by every cat in the hood with kids. You know what I mean? Because that's disrespectful on a whole other level, bro. We don't need that type of energy in 2016. So that's absolutely ridiculous, man. I have no words for that. That's despicable and that's disgusting.
We'll try this. North Carolina couple is arrested after attacking each other with pizza rolls due to arguing over, quote, household chores and animal feedings.
You said he beat him with pizza rolls?
Yes.
How? Were they frozen?
No, they were warm and hot. Fresh out the microwave.
That's a hell of an insult one. Dog, first of all, that's dangerous. The pizza rolls used to be hot as hell. Like, dog, they are so hot, bro. Like, for some reason, they are weapons. They burn and they scold you like it's in the fiery pits of hell itself. So, that's a pretty dangerous weapon to have, dude. But you don't beat nobody on pizza rolls, man. That can cause 3rd-degree burns. That's dangerous. That's dangerous. Second of all, why two grown-ass men arguing over who's gonna be tourists? Anyway, it's kind of weird. It's like, you know, nothing else to argue about. Like, that's kind of petty, bro. That's kind of super petty.
Well, here we go. Southern pastor arrested after convincing congregation of women to join him on a sandy beach naked to receive the, quote, special blessing via his kiss of their butt cheeks.
Again with this fool, dog. How do people keep falling for this, bro? Look, this is the whole thing about organized religion, bro. Like, literally, people fall for anything. And I am a spiritual brother. I believe in the Most High. You know what I mean? Grew up very religious, but it came to a certain point where I just had to realize, like, sometimes these people really, like, these fake spiritual leaders, bro, turn people into mindless cult-like followers. In what society would individuals say, you know what, Pastor, right? I'm gonna go lay out on this booty ass naked and just spread him and let him kiss me so I can see stuff. What sense does that make when you say it out loud? It sounds like the stupidest thing in the world. And yet people actually let this man do that?
Yeah.
That's the second stupidest thing I've ever heard, bro. Wow. Ain't nothing but a hustle.
Better believe it. And Georgia man arrested after breaking into the pantry of the Marriott Hotel to get some bagels and orange juice for breakfast.
Get some, what he broke in the store continental breakfast. I can't. Yo, that's so savage, dog. That's so savage. He broke it. Yo, that's terrible, dog. I almost don't want to laugh because that's nuts, man. He broke in the store continental breakfast. Damn. Damn. Alright. That's okay. That's nuts. That's nuts. That is hilarious.
Well, Virginia man arrested and thrown out of church after being caught peeing in Lipton Brisk bottle in choir stand during the Men's Day service.
Man, here's the thing, dog. That's stupid. If you got to get your ass up and go pee, you a grown ass man scared to get up in church, and you should have pissed on yourself for being stupid. You know, get your ass up. The hell is wrong with you? Man, boy, I tell you, people are dumb. People are dumb, bro. I'd have had to look. Everybody in that whole row would have had to been inconvenience. I'm like, excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me, Sister Johnson. Brother Raheem. Excuse me. I must go relieve myself and y'all on the way.
Ooh-wee. And New York man arrested after beating the brakes off his barber with a bat for, quote, destroying his last remaining hairline.
Yo, I'm not trying to laugh, dog, but I can't be too mad about that, dog. I can't. Like, if you're a barber and you ruin somebody's hairline, you liable to catch your ass whooping. I can't even be mad about that, dog. I can't. I mean, a hammer, yeah, that was a little excessive, but I'm just saying I'd at least do hands when he was up. If you mess up my hairline, dog, we got to fight. We have to.
Exactly. And North Carolina couple is arrested after being caught engaging in rough, passionate relations on the roof of Target.
First of all, how does two get to the roof of Target? That's what I'm concerned about. How? I'm not mad at people getting in however they got to get in. You know what I mean? When you're a couple, you gotta come up with, creative and spicy ways to keep everything hot and fresh. But the roof of Target, I'm just concerned about how one had access to the roof of Target and how one was able to make sure said access just, that's creative. But how though, Sway? How?
Exactly. That is the good question. How did you get on the roof of Target to get this going? Wow. And the last story of the day, bro, was this. Can't believe this bleep. Florida man gets his name legally changed to son of a bee because, quote, he claims that he is a son of a bee.
Huh. Accurate. That is, I guess it's accurate, right? Like, I want to be mad. But I can guess the brother felt like that was an accurate description. Like, geez. That's kind of harsh, though. Like,
is that a GOR, too?
Yeah, that's a gross overreaction, dog. That's... that is... wow.
And I saw his ID. It said son, first name, middle name, other, last name, the B word. Seriously.
That is.
Lisa Flyers Forum, Son B. Son B, please come to the counter. Son B to the counter. Really?
Yeah, though, like, how do you, he's ruined his whole life in school. Like, why would you do that? I'm all, you know, that's no.
But the man's 48 years old, so he's
That's
well
so
past school age.
Okay.
So at 48, you want to go with your name being son of a B. Because, come on, you are a son of a B.
Wow. That's petty to a level I've never seen in my lifetime.
Another year in review story right there. Year in review right there.
Absolutely.
But Dolph, let's close the Boss Report today. What is your take on this week's report?
First of all, people still overreacting, dog. Like, people are still overreacting to these smallest things. Like, goodness gracious. People need to, like, calm down and chill out. I'm curious as to how that couple got on the roof of Target, though. I ain't even gonna hold you up. That's, all right, interesting. I don't know. Third, why would he change his name to Son of a B? Like, yo, that's extreme. That's extreme. And lastly, people stop following stupidity, even if it's a false prophecy. If you're a pastor, if you're in church or any type of religious tabernacle or structure, I'm not even gonna call it tabernacle. If you're in any type of religious structure or religious setting where you're getting your praise on to connect with a religious spirit of some type, and the pastor ever says the phrase, I've been called to deliver this message. If you receive this message, you must meet me on the beach, butt naked, with your ass in the air, and I must place my lips upon it for you to receive the sacred blessing. If anybody was to ever hear that, I want you to gather your belongings. I want you to get up calmly. I want you to leave. And I want you to never to return. And I want you to tell everybody that you know to never return. Because that is grade A lunacy, and that is some stupid assery to a level that I have never seen in my life. People start falling for the game, I've never read that in the Bible, where any member in biblical times had to receive a sacred blessing by being booty butt ass naked on a beach and having somebody's lips planted on their buttocks. I have never seen it, I've never heard it, I've never read it. So people stop being stupid. Collect your belongings and go.
And this week, no Gators this week. Praise God for that. No Gators.
Thank God. Right.
But the chitlin stand propped back up again. Like, we look, I think we need to start a club. No more chitlin stands. You know, like NMCS. No more chitlin stands. They need to go away for life. Like, there's no need for it.
Yeah, for real.
No need. If you want chitlins, go buy them yourself or go to a soul food spot and get you some chitlins on chitlin day. Stop.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, dude, people can literally, like, go to the store and just buy. Why would you have to chitlins? I understand it's corner of the market. I get it. This business is like economics for damn sure. But, still, like, stank, bro. Chitlin stand? Come on, man. Come on. It's a nuisance to the community.
Exactly. But, dog, let's hear what we got going on with you at Family Grind ENT. What you and Fresh got going on. What your man Boogie got going on. Talk to us, brother.
Oh, man, I'm so proud of my homie, Ace Boogie, dog. The young dog, my little cousin, Ace Boogie, has released his debut EP called Nice to Meet You. It is an amazing 5-track collection of songs, bro. It's available right now for free. For free. That's free with a capital F-R-E-E. And you can get it on familygrind.com. You can definitely hit up illstreetonline.com. That's ILLSTREETONLINE.com. You can download it for free. Subscribe to the letter. I promise you want to subscribe to that chain because we got a lot of stuff popping. Me and Fresh got a brand new video out for our song No Clubs, Just Bars. That's available on youtube.com/FGETV. You could also check it out at familygrind.com. And that single is available right now on iTunes, Amazon, Google Play, everywhere. You could also hit up illstreetonline.com too and grab that single. And my homeboy Shotty BTV, he shot the video for The Juice. That's a very special video, man. It's off our project, Cooking from the Underground. You know, it really does an amazing representation of where me and Fresh are from, you know what I mean, Detroit City, and Fresh from the Downriver area, so we definitely put on for both those areas, man. The video is doing numbers. My homeboy Shotty B, he had the drone out, dog. He brought all the props out, man, for it. This is an amazing video. People check that out on youtube.com/ShottyBTV. That's youtube.com/SHADIEBEETV.com. Well, youtube.com/ShottyBTV. It's called The Juice. It's off our album, Cooking from the Underground, which is available now, iTunes, Amazon, Google Play, illstreetonline.com, and everything, man. And, of course, me and Fresh got some new stuff cooking up in the works, people. And I'm telling you, we got some new joints about to look. All I can tell y'all is y'all need to subscribe. Family Grind on Twitter, Family Grind on Instagram, and we on Snapchat now. Family Grind is on Snapchat. Facebook, Family Grind. Me and Fresh got some heat we about to drop. Ace Boogie got some heat he already dropped, and it's doing real well. So we busy over here, man. We just working.
No doubt, folks. This is we also put it on the Bossman Radio Network, BossmanRadioShow.com.